The year 2018 may well have passed at a speed comparable to low latency trade execution. However, it was a significant period for the electronic trading business worldwide. 2018 was a year in which many structural changes took place and new avenues were explored by all new entrants with a totally different ethos. Now, as the final year of the decade is underway, it is time to look at forthcoming developments. And to do so, we are here today in the British town of Guildford in Surrey, home of one of the world's most well-recognised trading platform integration and technology companies, Goldeye, which dedicates its development resources towards building and evolving industry-standard MetaTrader 4 bridges and MetaTrader 5 gateways, as well as advanced MAM accounts and liquidity management solutions. Speaking to Goldeye's CEO, Tom Higgins, here at the company's headquarters, we look towards 2019 with anticipation.
Well, hi, Andrew, and thanks so much for providing me the opportunity to talk about 2019. It's going to be a really exciting year, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Well, it's certainly a great pleasure to be here, Tom. And to start off with, I think it's really worth having a look at the fundamental aspects of operating a business that is key within this industry. So I'd like to ask what the key aspects are that you have focused on in order to create a sustainable business.
I think building a sustainable business is all about building the right products, not just for today, but also for tomorrow, for the clients of the future. Our market is changing continuously. Every year I look back and I think it's changed again and again and again. So we've had to concentrate really hard on building products that are flexible enough to be able to meet the demands for today, but to be extendable for tomorrow. And our clients come to us because of that, because we have that forward-looking vision.
In a very forward-looking development environment, such as software providers and trading technology that powers the retail trading sector, I think it's really important to continue that sustainability and scalability as it really forms the linchpin of the business. So I'd like to find out also how important it's been for you as a leader to devolve responsibility to other team members at Goldeye.
The structure of the company has been really, really important, and I think it's vital to have a very strong management team and to devolve responsibility down to those managers so that they can do their job best. It's impossible to scale a business if you don't devolve responsibility. If the top manager or the CEO or the president or the managing director, whatever they're called, if they do all the work, then you can't scale a business in any way. So by devolving responsibility down to the senior management team and then they devolve responsibility down to their managers, you can scale a business to any size. We've always taken that approach and it seems to work really well.
I would most definitely agree with that. I think scalability is all about employing and nurturing the right talent and then structuring their daily responsibilities in a certain way. That way, as you say, any business can be grown to any size. However, it's not without challenge. So I'd like to find out also what have been the main challenges involved in delegating such key aspects of the business to other team members.
Well, when you start a business, it's generally the founder's idea that you're working with, and so you tend to do everything yourself. So it's quite difficult employing the first senior managers and giving up the things that you used to do that you knew you could do really well to somebody else, who initially might not do it as well, but eventually will do it much better than you. So I've always concentrated on employing people that are much better than me, training them, showing them what I do, and then letting them get on with it and letting them do a really, really good job. But that initial handover from when you're doing it to when a manager is doing it for you, that's quite hard.
That's for sure. I would quite agree. How have you been able to motivate such staff to remain committed to the business as the management structure has continued to change? And how do you encourage staff to play a role in the long-term growth of the business as it expands?
So engagement in staff is absolutely vital, and I've seen horrible examples where people haven't done this, and some really clever people have just not done very well because they haven't engaged with their staff. We just don't take that approach. We thoroughly engage with our staff, and we have a really good mix of top-down communication where I have a town hall with everybody in the company every 2 months, and I have really good open communication with them. The managers have communication on a weekly basis, and then we have bottom-up communication where the staff are responsible for all sorts of different things. So for running our fund committee, running our community charity fund, and all sorts of events like that. So the mixture of top down and bottom up gives a really good communication channel. And that's just so vital. It's really important to understand that it's not just money that motivates people to work. It's coming to a work environment that's a nice place where they have meaningful work to do that's exciting and challenging and actually really benefits clients. So having a real purpose in a company, having a why you exist is absolutely vital. And our staff are heavily involved in constructing the why, constructing the purpose, working on our vision and values. So keeping staff engaged as a summary, that's the most important thing.
Goldeye has really experienced tremendous growth and tremendous expansion in both product range and regional capacity over the last couple of years. We've seen a large expansion to opening of global offices and various new products come to fruition. So really at the moment, what does your role currently involve, and how involved are you now in the day-to-day running of the business at this particular developed stage of the company?
So as I've developed through starting the company to the position I'm in today, it's changed substantially. So now my role is in charge of strategy. I'm the owner of the culture, making sure that's maintained in all of the different offices around the world. And I think I would say I'm chief motivator. I keep everybody buzzed and keep working hard and keep everybody excited. If I see people not excited, that worries me. So I look after that. Sometimes I get involved in really big sales deals as well. But normally just keeping the motivation up, keeping the strategy up and keeping the culture strong.
Well, Tom, we've known each other for several years and worked together for a very long time. So I've watched you go from a very high level to an even higher level. So I'd like to find out how you've developed as a CEO and where you get your inspiration and learnings from about how to evolve your role on a continual basis.
So evolution is continuous, and I think CEOs just have to do this. So when I started the company, I was a software developer, and I'd managed a number of people over the years, but I'd never run a company. So I didn't really know what to do. So I asked my friends who'd run companies, I sought external advice, and that's when I started the sort of continuous professional development plan that I've continued on, and I think is absolutely vital. So I'm a member of a CEOs group called Vistage, which is a group of CEOs of similar sized companies. We meet every month. We have a mentor and a chairman who guides us, and they really help me answer the questions I've got to answer. I can ask them questions about the company that I can't ask anybody else. They guide me and I guide them. That gives us such a really good broad set of input. Other areas I can get information from that I just couldn't have access to if I was just doing this internally. So that really helps me grow. And as I go on, and the company gets bigger and bigger and the roles becomes more and more strategic, that becomes more and more vital, and I'll continue with that.
I think finally, as we look towards a 2019 of larger scalability and certainly new product ranges and global aspirations, what advice would you give to somebody who is transitioning from a founder or a CEO of a very small business to a leader and CEO of a larger global firm?
So when you're CEO of a small business, you do have to do an awful lot of stuff yourself, because there aren't people here to do it for you. And when you move into a larger firm, the tendency is to try and carry on doing those small things yourself. But really you shouldn't. You should delegate those to somebody else because they'll do it better than you. And then you can really focus on thinking. So probably 3/4 of a big CEO's time is spent thinking. Strategically, where are we going to go? What are we going to do in the business? Occasionally a bit of firefighting. But a big business is a really complicated animal. They have lots of managers, lots of layers. And so the CEO's responsibility really has to be focusing on strategy and culture. It's an extension of the small company, but just much more and much, much more strategic. So keep on learning. The continuous professional development doesn't stop if you go from a small company like ours into a larger company. You've still got to keep doing that. You still need to have someone who will challenge your ideas all the time. And so just keep learning.
As always, Tom, a great pleasure to be here in Guildford, and certainly very interesting to hear your perspective on growth, especially scalability and how to lead a company forward as it continues to build itself further and further. So I wish you a very, very good 2019, and certainly it will be very interesting to see the developments within the technology sector of the FX and electronic trading industry as the year goes by.
I think 2019 is going to be a really interesting year. We've got so many unknowns. We've got Brexit. We don't know what's going to happen with that. Who knows where that's going to go? We don't know what's happening in the rest of the world. We don't know politically what's happening. We don't know regulatory what's happening. All of these things are interesting challenges. I think the Chinese proverb said, may you live in interesting times. And we certainly are living in interesting times. So I think some global growth is coming for us anyway. APAC region is a very exciting region. That's still growing beautifully. Europe, I think, will pause for this year, and then next year you'll start seeing really significant growth again there. But if you have a business that's focused globally, there's plenty of opportunities around there. So keep watching.